in his mind, can only be fixed with help from the federal government. What is your take on NIL, the way it's being monitored right now, and do you see federal intervention maybe as the only way to fix the problem if you see one?
Well, I mean, Commissioner Sankey, you know a lot more than me on that, all that stuff. I mean, I'm just focused on Clemson. I mean, we could talk about that for the rest of this press conference, but you know, it's been a good thing here. It hasn't been, you know, I can only give you my lens from Clemson. There's certainly some nightmare things going on out there, and there's some like anything, intentions may be good, but there's some unintended consequences and you know, some things that you hear that you know is not good for the long term. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, those changes are going to have to come from people who are in position to make those changes and create. But we don't have any national standard, or there's just a lot of confusion, but and a lot of chaos that comes with it. But from Clemson's perspective, you know, it's really been a positive for us. It hasn't been a negative situation at all here. What's that?
Do you have a highlight of your summer?
My summer, I didn't really do much. We went down to the beach and then we just hung out on Lake Kiowee. That was a blast. I did play in a golf tournament with a bunch of my buddies, my boys. My little team won it. My 3-person scramble team. We won that. That's about it. Just hung out and enjoyed time on. Oh, well, that wasn't summer. That was March. Yeah, so my son got married in March. Is that summer? That's not summer. Spring, right? Yeah. So he got married in March. Probably the highlight of my summer I didn't actually get to be a part of because I did go to South Africa. May is summer, isn't it?
You went on a safari.
Yeah. May is summer. That counts. So I went to South Africa, and that was amazing. You know, it was a trip that went with about 30 Clemson people. And I think there was like 3 or 4 former player guys on the trip, and that was amazing. You know, I mean, we're about as off the grid as you can be. It was crazy being in that environment in the bush, and you know, if a game drive at 5:30, another one at 3:30, and just seeing those animals in that environment, it was fascinating. Plane ride was really long, but other than that, that was an unbelievable experience. But probably the highlight of my summer was Tim Beret getting married. It's probably the highlight of my summer for sure. And you know, we just didn't coordinate the calendars properly. I was in South Africa or wherever I was. Yeah.
You gotta know what your favorite animal was on the trip.
Oh man, the lion for sure was just fascinating. The lion and the lioness.
They didn't have tigers, right?
There's no tigers. There's no tigers in that part of. We went to Cape Town for like 2 days, and then we were in Durban for like a day and a half, and then we went into the bush for like 4.5 days, and that was. I mean, there's no TVs. You know. I mean, we couldn't get to our room one time because there was an elephant just standing in front of our door. That was a problem. You didn't leave your room. You had to somebody had to escort you because you. I mean, it was wild. But the lion was just. It was amazing to see this, you know, and it was just, you know, the stars. I mean, just complete nothing. You know, it was pretty fascinating, and the people there were amazing. You know, some really just genuine and super nice people. It was awesome.
He seems like the kind of guy that has a great perspective on things, but like, does that even widen it? Like, do you walk away from something like that?
Sure. I mean, I'd never really been out of the country until our 25th wedding anniversary. Oh, that's another thing. I had my 29th anniversary. I should mention that. Great moment this summer. Definitely the highlight of the summer. Sure you get that. Yeah, but I'd never really been out of the country other than Nassau or something. And we went to Italy our 25th anniversary, and that was a huge perspective change for me. You know, it was fascinating to me to see Rome and to see, you know, Florence. That's when I learned my name was in the Vatican. Yeah, I mean, to go over and you meet all these people who've never been to America, and to just kind of see that way of life over there, and to see this, it's a beautiful country, to see where the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean come together, to see the mountains of Cape Town, but to go into the bush and just to be with these people and these rangers, like, this is what they do and how they track things. And I mean, it just is crazy. Like, we're really doing this. Like, we're just, it's not like we were at, Busch Gardens going through the safari ride down there. I mean, these are like real animals, and there's giraffes and, just elephants, and just to be in there, and then to be out at night and under the stars and to see the Southern Cross, Another weird experience, you go when you're down there, you're below the equator, so you go north to get warmer. You go south, you get colder. Like Cape Town, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, next stop is Antarctica. So it was an amazing experience from a perspective standpoint. And then when you meet a lot of people, I got to meet a lot of people over there, and it's interesting to get their perspective of America or their way of life or whatever. So you definitely get impacted by that. But it was a new continent, something I didn't think I'd ever do in my life. So it was I was a long way from Pelham, Alabama. I'll tell you that. I will say this though, it's a crazy. We can't be further off the grid. And we're in these little Jeeps. They're like, got the guy with a gun, and you got like two people. And everybody's in these little Jeeps, and our group, there was 30 of us, so we pretty much had our own little camp, and you didn't really see anybody unless it was us. So, and I guess they talked to each other or something, the Rangers, and so somebody saw a leopard, and so, and that's the other thing, there's not like, there's some trails, but most of the time we ran over trees, and it was crazy. These Land Rovers, they'll climb a tree. I mean, these things were powerful, but we go and we find, and we could pull up, and there's a little Jeep, and I'm like, and that wasn't in our group. It was somebody from some other camp nearby or something. And so, you obviously don't know who they are. You think everybody over there is kind of a foreigner. And we pull up around them, and they're all sitting there, and everybody's quiet because they're parked looking at the leopard, and we're trying to come around our guy to pull up beside them. And as they, we come around, and they're kind of like this, and they're kind of like that, and we pull around them, and just kind of wave at him. We're looking at the leopard there, and just kind of look back at the guy and just kind of waving. He goes, and he's like, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Who are you, and where are you from?" And there's a guy from Decatur, Alabama, of all people. I mean, and we were in school together at Alabama at the exact same time. And I'm just like, he was there with his family, and I'm just like, this is, when you think you're in this big planet. Here's a guy from Decatur, Alabama, went to the same school at the same time. That was pretty cool.
Dabo, I think you said it's year 21 for you.
Yep.
Going into year 21. Besides the obvious thing of winning a national championship, I'm curious, what's motivating you this year and this group specifically?
What motivates me is the same thing that motivates me every year, and that is, just using the platform of education and football to build great men. Simple. I mean, that's what motivates me. If we can keep doing a great job of that, the rest takes care of itself. But, I'm motivated by that big old scoreboard they put out there in Death Valley too. I know that's very motivating. But man, I'm just motivated to do my best and be my best. That's what motivates me. I'm motivated to create a program of excellence in all areas. I'm motivated by that internal drive, that internal purpose that I have as a man. I'm motivated to glorify God. I'm motivated to be a good husband and father, and motivated to lead this program, the very best way I can, and to fulfill the purpose of the program. And that's what motivates me every single year.
How much are you looking forward to visiting that Tiger Walk in about 7 weeks?
Man, that is amazing. I mean, I was just talking about that with some of the guys. Some of those guys from 08 are here, CJ, James Davis. I mean, that's just one of the coolest things. And I was actually with Jimmy Brown last night, who he and Candace gave the money to get that going and to build that. And it's one of those things that I think we'll always take just a lot of pride in, and because when you've lived it and you really can think back on that, I'll never forget that bus ride in. First of all, I was like, we can never come to Clemson this way again because everybody was asleep. I didn't even know we went to Clemson the way we did. I'd never ridden the bus to Clemson, until that night before the Georgia Tech game, and I'm like, what are we doing? We went I don't even know where we went. Came out by the airport, and we had said, hey, I went to Terry Don on Wednesday, and I said, hey, can y'all just drop us off on the road? And and he's looking at me like I was crazy, and because you got the police got to get involved. This is a problem. We got tailgate. I'm like, we just want to walk through. I just want them to walk through and just smell it, and to see it now, that's a place that people will come year round and visit. They will go visit Tiger Wall. Our captains are going to be, in concrete there from all the Clemson teams. As far back as we can go, as we captains, we're going to put them in concrete, and I think that's just going to be a really neat thing. And again, it'll be neat to know how it all started and to see it come to full circle and fruition, and a real space now, a living, breathing space that people can go visit and take pictures at and have fun. And who knows, maybe there'll be a wedding there or something. If we'd have had it done sooner, I guarantee you Beret might have got married there.
What are your thoughts on left tackle? Is there kind of a timeline in your mind on when y'all would like to have that position sorted out?
Not really. We got a lot of time between now and Labor Day night, but certainly you don't want to be Wednesday before the game saying, all right, who's going to start? But then also, I hope that we have a long time before we can decide, because I hope it's that competitive, and I think it's going to be. We only lost one lineman, and he got drafted by the Chargers, and I think he'll have a great year for them this year in J-Mac, and we're only losing one this year in Putnam. We got a really, it's as competitive and as deep a group as we've had around here in a long, long time, and then with Tate out in the spring, that really was a glass half full type of thing, to be honest with you. Because we got this guy, Marcus Tate, who's played a lot of ball, and, man, we're really getting him healthy. But it allowed us to really kind of force the issue with Tristan, for example. And, man, he did an amazing job. If you told me Tristan Lee's going to start us for left tackle right now, I'm sleeping just fine. I got no problem with that because, there's that guy, he's a winner. And he cares, and it's amazing the transformation that's happened in him. But who's our best five? We've got the positive is we got a lot of versatility within our group, and we got a lot of experience now. And so who's the best five? Is it Mitchell Mays and bumping Tate out? Is it Tristan at left tackle? There's so many scenarios that could play out. But I will say this: regardless of how it all shakes out, as far as who we run out there Labor Day night, as far as the first five, I think this will be a year so different from years past. I think you'll see us play probably 10 guys a game minimum. And when's the last time that's happened? I would be very, very surprised if you don't see us, play, 10, maybe 11 guys a game in any situation. So that really bodes well for us. It's going to be incredibly competitive, but we got a lot of guys that we believe in that can go play for us, that have earned that trust, and so it'll be fun. But and to know that we're going to have that type of depth bodes well for us down the stretch. It was at 21. I think we played 5 guys every snap. We were just, it was crazy. We're 4. Somehow we won 10. We were 10-3 that year. That was the craziest year ever. And then last year we were able to grow our depth a little bit, and this year it's even more so. So I think we're in a good spot there.
Seems like you had a pretty good competition in the spring between both kicker and punter. Expect that to continue through August again?
Yeah. I absolutely. I expect competition every single day we walk out there. I'd be disappointed if we don't. I want everybody to show up and compete, at every position. I don't want anybody to feel like, hey, they can just show up and go through the motions. But we'll bring 2 into camp. We'll have Robert and Quinn in camp, and obviously with Liam moving on, we'll have those 2 guys, and then we got our punter situation, and hopefully Jack's going to take that next step, and same thing with Aiden. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it's a better start. Last year, I think y'all were at that first practice. I mean, it was awful, but we recovered and got a little better, but definitely looking for some great competition there.
You're obviously spending time with Garrett about the offense, preparing for the offense. How much time have you been spending with him, teaching him the proper technique of running down the hill?
None. He got to figure that out on his own. Yeah, he'll. All of our new people, they have to run down the hill on that first game. That's always a fun time, but he'll do fine. He'll figure it out for sure.
Dabo, all your staff talked about confidence, building confidence, players' confidence. How do you build somebody's confidence deeper past the attaboys and the high fives and fist bumps?
How do you build someone's confidence? Just through repetition and through pointing out. When you see it on tape. I mean, that's why we video everything here. And when you capture, we always say catch them doing something good. A lot of times we catch everybody doing something wrong, right? And we're always critiquing, but we have a lot of opportunity. There's so much good, and so make sure we're focusing on that. And we reward excellence here, and you just you build that confidence through just your daily messaging, your daily interaction, and then again, recognizing the growth that you see. Even though maybe it's not where you want it to be, but just, Tristan Lee's a perfect example of that. Even though, he was a long way away when he showed up here, we just kept encouraging him, stay engaged with him, keep kind of setting that next goal, and don't let them get overwhelmed by the bigger picture. Just stay focused on just a daily task, that daily focus.
Scheduling-wise for camp, how's that going to look? I know there was a change in the hours last year with the Labor Day. What's everything you're all leading into the season?
Yeah, well, fortunately for us, I mean, it's the exact same as last year. So hopefully next year we don't have to play on Labor Day night. So really not anything different for us, schedule-wise as opposed to last year. We the way they've structured it, it's good because you get a little time off. So we kind of go couple weeks or whatever, and then we'll have about a 48-hour kind of break, and then we'll come back and then we kind of flip the camp mode to game prep mode, and start getting ready for our opponents. And then because we play on Monday night, we'll have to take a couple days during camp and do a little work on Charleston Southern, because I mean you play on our reality is you play on Monday night. I mean we're going to get back here at 5 a.m. And it's Sunday internally, but it's Tuesday in the real world, and you play again on Saturday. So you got about 2 days, So we have to have a little bit of a working knowledge and a foundation. So we'll put a good day and a half or so on Charleston Southern, just because that's the way the schedule's set up. And but really no major change schedule-wise, camp, itinerary, all that stuff.
Yeah, but this time of year, for at least the last probably 7 or 8 years, it feels like everybody on the outside is Clemson's the easy, obvious pick to win the ACC, probably a playoff team. This year, there's certainly more buzz around Florida State than there has been in a while, and you guys probably have a few more doubters than maybe you've had in a while. Is that something, as somebody who likes to sort of prove the doubters wrong, is that something you think can be an advantage this time of year?
Yeah, I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong. I'm just trying to be who we are, and everybody. It's not like we live in some cave. I mean, people hear the good, hear the bad. I think at the end of the day, the external opinions and narratives, as I've said many times, that can be fuel for the fire, but it can't be the fire. Because if it is, then you're up and down based on whatever narrative it is. Man, it's really more about, again, what I talked about earlier, just us being committed to just being our best, each and every year. And all that other stuff. I think last year, preseason top 25, there was probably about 10 or 11 teams that didn't even finish ranked. So none of that stuff really matters. I mean, you got to go play. But I mean, I mean, we're a team that's in the conversation. I mean, we're good enough. I mean, I'm never going to be a guy that's going to sit here and say, hey, we stink and we're not. I don't know if we can win 5 games this year. Man, I always think we can win. It's just how I think. I'm not sitting here if I thought any other way. I always think we're good enough to win. You know, we're not good enough to just show up and win. I mean, we got to do what it takes, and we got to prepare properly, and we got to have commitment to excellence and accountability and leadership and team and all those things that win for us. But you know, I think we can compete with anybody, and I don't really get too caught up in whether or not we're picked to win the league or picked in the top. It really doesn't matter. I mean, what matters is what we do Labor Day night, and that's what I focus on. But you know, I have no problem with other teams being talked about as great because they've earned it. I mean, you mentioned Florida State. I mean, shoot, Florida State's a great team. I mean, they got a heck of a team, and I think Mike's done an amazing job. They got a bunch of good players, and will definitely be a team that you know will have a say in this league for sure. And so will we. And there'll be others, not just us two. There's going to be other teams that'll have a chance to compete for this league.
Of course, no divisions this season,